Welcome back to yet another Talking Lamar podcast. In this episode, in recognition of Jason Statham's movie, Beekeeper, we're going to look at some facts not only about Jason Statham, but also about the fascinating world of bees.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Sorry, I forgot what I was talking about.
What are you talking about?
I am talking to you.
That's just what I was talking about.
It's Talking Lamar.
I got a lot of facts here, and they're mixed up. Some of them are about Jason Statham, some of them are about bees. So just listen along and see if we can't teach you something. First off, we'll start with Jason Statham. He was a diver. Before becoming a big screen action tough guy, Jason Statham was one of the world's top competitive divers in the early 90s.
You're making it up. There's no really? Like Olympics or world championships?
Well, yeah, wow. He spent 12 years as part of the British national diving squad. Now, though he was a very elite diver and he won a lot of different things, he never qualified for the Olympics, which he admits is still a sore point for him. He said, I started too late. He said, it probably wasn't my thing. I probably should have done a different sport, but I liked it. Now, we'll switch gears. Bees like coffee, just like humans. Caffeine keeps these busy bees alert and active. This is why they're drawn to flowers that have coffee nectar. And a colony's social hierarchy is usually comprised of three kinds of bees. You got your workers, your drones, and the queen. Now, as the name suggests, all female worker bees are responsible for labor, from collecting honey. You're going to love this, Sheri. From collecting honey to hive work. Meanwhile, drones, or the male bees, do not do anything except copulate with the colony's queen bee to produce more eggs.
Well, I'll be darned. Who could imagine such a dynamic?
And then finally, the queen bees lay eggs, they make the hive, and they rule all the bees in the colony. Now, a queen bee does a mating flight. The queen bee leaves its hive, and it copulates with at least 45 drones at a time. All the collected sperm will be stored in their sperm metatica, leaving the queen with a lifetime supply of sperm. What do you think about that?
Wow. So the queen only does this mating thing once in her lifetime? And then she's got the whole supply?
Well, I think she's got it saved up, but then it says all these other male bees, all they do all day long is do that. So that's sort of confusing to me. One thing I do know is bees do not sleep. They rest at night, but they maintain consciousness 24/7.
I can relate to this.
Listen, I feel like I've been that bee since Kevin's surgery. I feel like I'm definitely that bee.
Now, Jason Statham, he dabbled in modeling because when his diving career was over, he didn't know what else to do. So he entered the world of modeling for a fashion company called French Connection. Now, if his rugged image doesn't seem to naturally lend itself to the world of male modeling, well, that's what the company was going for. It said, we chose Jason because we wanted our model to look like a normal guy, the spokesman said. What? In what world does Jason Statham look like a normal guy?
Well, can I just say, I discovered Jason Statham in the movie The Mechanic, which is Jason Statham and Ben Foster. That's a great movie, isn't it, Lamar? If you want to watch a really good sort of, this kind of movie, The Mechanic
Make you think.
Great.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh my God, it's great.
Very, very good.
So I discovered Jason Statham in that movie, and he is not conventionally like Hollywood. You know what I mean when I say he's not conventionally Hollywood
he's not
attractive, but he just is so hot.
He exudes it. He exudes.
Yeah.
He is a man.
Yes,
all of it. Yeah.
And the way they're talking, I don't go down the street and meet a lot of people that look like him. So I'm gonna have to let that go. Now we're gonna take a little break and we're gonna come back with some more facts. And the educational facts just keep coming. Humans can be killed by 1,100, that's 1,100 bee stings. Bee venom contains proteins that attack skin cells and the immune system. It causes pain and swelling just when you get stung. But, however, in large numbers, if 1,000 bees got on you and stung you, it could kill you. I didn't think it would take that many, but it would take 1,000.
I'm surprised because, for someone who's allergic to bee stings or wasp stings and you're carrying your EpiPen in case you get one, I can't believe that it would take 1,000. Wow.
Yeah. Unless you're allergic, but if you're just an average person not allergic, it'll take 1,000. Now, here's something I cannot imagine. A bee can remember your face. Among their heightened senses, bees can map out a person's facial characteristics, recognizing which kind of souls would leave out nectar for them to come back to. And this ability is now being studied for the development of facial recognition software. They know where to go where somebody leaves stuff out for them.
So they know they're like if you have bees, they know you.
Yep.
They know their beekeeper.
Yeah,
oh wow.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, you probably already know this. Around 1/3 of our food comes from a bee's honey pollination. Because as they collect nectar for honey, they also indirectly pollinate the area, driving the growth of all the plants. 80% of the world's plants have been pollinated by bees. 1 out of every 4 bites of food you eat is the result of bee pollination. Thank you, bee. I love it.
Yeah.
1 out of 4. Jason Statham danced half naked in a couple of music videos. I have not seen these videos. Back in 2015, 2 of the 90s music videos went viral because people started to recognize who it was. Coming On by The Shaman and Run to the Sun by Erasure. And the songs were not that great, but both videos featured a half-naked and quite oily Jason Statham curiously dancing away in the background. So that moved him up the charts. Now, drones cannot sting you with their venom. Drones do not have stingers as their main role is mating, and it doesn't require them to have one. Instead, male honeybees' only appendages are genitals that explode after mating. While the tip remains inside the female, the tip acts as a stopper for the sperm so it won't leak out. Whew, that's a bummer. That is a bummer.
Gosh, that was a whole collection of words arranged in an order I did not expect to hear today.
Yeah. Well, the bees ain't crazy about it either. Now, bees die when they sting humans. Typically, bees sting as a defense mechanism against other insects that invade their hive, and they meet their death when they sting humans because, unlike insects that they could sting multiple times, human skin traps their stinger and eventually tears it from the bee's body, and it kills them. So if you ever get stung by a bee, a lot of times you get bit by a bee, but if you get stung by a bee and you see where it's left the stinger, that bee's a goner.
That's what makes me so sad about a bee sting, because the bee, there are no like bee criminals, bee serial killers. The bee stung you because it was trying to defend itself or its hive or whatever. It didn't have any malice, but it costs it its life. It's so sad. Let's talk some more about an oily, half-naked Jason Statham.
We'll get back to that. But a colony of bees could have 1 or more queen bees. In some cases, a new queen develops while the old queen is still alive. And under these circumstances, 2 queens can rule the colony until the first queen actually dies. Now, you often wonder how Jason Statham got found. He was selling knockoff jewelry and perfume on the street before Guy Ritchie cast him in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. He had done the diving, he had done the modeling, he had done all the dancing, oily and all, but he was still looking to make a real living. So his next job turned out to be selling knockoff perfume and jewelry on London street corners. But luckily, that type of real world hoodlum activity was exactly what director Guy Ritchie needed for Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Ritchie was introduced to Statham through his modeling gig at French Connection. And he saw the potential because he was sort of like a little real world con man selling his jewelry on the street. And he wrote the role for Bacon specifically for Statham, which ended up being the movie that put him in the limelight. And when he went in to interview for the job with Ritchie, Ritchie told him, all right, sell me a necklace. And Statham had to sell him a necklace like he would on the street. And he said, you got the job. So that's how he got discovered.
I never heard that before. That is really cool.
Yep. Now, drones die after mating. During a queen bee's mating flight, drones have the opportunity to mate for 7 to 10 times. After it exceeds that point, the drone's abdomen rips apart and kills it instantly. So that explains that the mating flight. See, it don't seem so bad for the female bees to be picking up stuff because they're not blowing up, and you know what I'm saying. The males.
What's up with nature? I mean, could the bee not just keel over dead? Why does it have to have its wanker yanked off and its guts exploding? Like, who designed this? This is terrible.
Hey, that's commitment. Now, here's one that's really amazing. Bees can locate landmines. In Croatia, bees are trained to locate hidden mines. Known to have this excellent olfactory nerves, bees can detect smells of any kind very easily. So they are trained to identify the scent of explosives as food so that landmines can be traced. Is that not freaky?
They are just, I mean, that is amazing. That is just absolutely amazing. But given how amazing that is, why do their little tummies have to explode? Isn't there a better way?
Nature's tough. All right. Killer bees actually have less venom. Now, when you hear the name killer bee, you're thinking, oh man, they're the more powerful. But killer bees have significantly less venom than the average bee. They're smaller than honeybees and bumblebees, but they carry less venom. They attack intruders in numbers much greater than normal honeybees. Since their introduction into Brazil, they have killed 1,000 people. And victims receive 10 times as many stings as they would from regular honeybees. One of the reasons is the killer bees react to any kind of disturbance 10 times faster than other bees. Now, the other thing about killer bees is the whole reason that they're here is they have excellent honey. They make excellent honey, and that's how they got bred for it, was for the excellent honey, not for the killer part. But they don't play around. If you go messing with them, they come in a bunch. Now, Jason Statham regularly, and everybody should know this, does his own stunts. He takes a ton of pride in doing most of the stunts in his movies, from the hand-to-hand combat to hanging from a helicopter 3,000 feet above the ground. He said, I'm inspired by the people who could do their own work. He said, like Bruce Lee never had a stunt double, or Jackie Chan, or Jet Li. I've been in action movies where there is a face replacement and I'm fighting with a double. He said, it's embarrassing to me. He said, why would you not do your own stunts? He does not respect action stars that don't do their own stunts because he does.
You know, but now that I know that he was like this big time elite athlete, that kind of makes some sense, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. He don't just look, he is really in great shape. Beeswax comes from a worker bee's abdomen. Honeybees produce this natural wax, which forms into scales from their abdominal segments. Honeybees secrete this wax from their abdominal glands, and with the wax, it either gets discarded during the workday or it's used to reinforce their hives. That's where it comes from. Now, if bees are a problem for you, crushed garlic is a natural bee repellent. The smell of garlic discourages bees from coming near your house or your plants. So if you chop up or crush a whole clove of garlic and soak it with some water for like 4 or 5 days. You can use that mixture as a bee repellent when you need to. And garlic powder can also work. And that way you don't have bees coming to get you. They also hate peppermint.
Well, I wonder if people who eat a lot of garlic or a lot of peppermint, if it comes through their pores, and so they're naturally a little more protected from a sting.
That might be.
That's a thought.
That might be.
Yeah,
now, bees also hate peppermint, and bees may be attracted to plants and flowers, but they specifically hate anything that has peppermint in it, and they could smell it from a mile away. So, if you would like to keep bees away, it's best to do like peppermint plants and stuff. If you plant them around your house, the bee, like where you're doing social stuff, if you plant the bees won't come around. Now, back to Jason Statham, he practices a huge range of martial arts, and that's why he's able to do all these stunts. His fitness routine is not just about weights and looking good, whatever. He's involved in boxing, judo, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Out of everything he does to stay in shape, it's the martial arts that have been most helpful for his on-screen presence. I mean, he's awesome in a fight scene. And he said, that's what I give all my time to these days. He said, I train for what I have to do in terms of providing action in an authentic manner. So he knows what he's doing when he's out there doing it. There's no CGI or nothing with none of his stuff. And here's somebody else that really is big in the martial arts, Guy Ritchie. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu and a brown belt in karate. And they did an interview with Men's Health, and they asked Statham if the two of them ever sparred, and he laughed. He said, I remember when we started out, we would go on a press tour for Lock, Stock, and Barrels, Two Smoking Barrels, and he said, we would be moving furniture all the way out of the way in the hotel room. We would be trying to choke each other out and, wrestle and all that. He said, they do it all the time. And
I'm just like,
him and Guy Ritchie are tight. They're very tight. Him and Guy Ritchie are very, very tight. I don't know if they oiled up before they did it, but that's none of my business. So I don't know how that's going out. But here's something. The very first beer was made from honeycomb and water. Because bees collect honey not only for their food, but also we can eat it too. In the Anglo-Saxons period, the first beer was a mixture of water, herbs, and honeycomb. Now, a queen bee could survive a sting. Like workers, a queen bee could sting you no problem, okay? Because her stinger is smooth. It's not barbed. So they could actually sting you and it will pull out. So the queen bee, it doesn't bother her. She can sting as much as she wants to. That sort of equalizes it up a little bit, don't it?
Yeah, but I mean, all the benefits that go to being the queen. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Now, here's the deal, though. The queens have to fight for the throne. A queen bee that is newly hatched, if she's the first one hatched, she will go sting all of her rivals that have not hatched yet. She stings them while they're still in the sack. And when two queen bees are hatched at the same time, they fight to the death to see who becomes the queen bee. So being the queen bees, there's something to that.
Well, yeah. Yeah. And what's the expression? Uneasy is, is the head where the crown is or whatever. Yeah.
Now, if you want to get technical, honey is bee vomit. That's what honey is. After sucking a flower's nectar, it goes directly to the bee's second stomach. And to make honey, they regurgitate their stomach's contents into cells of honeycomb, and they fan it using their wings. And so really, when you're eating honey, you're eating bee vomit. I mean, I don't know if that bothers you or not, but you are eating bee vomit.
I read that once, and I thought that was so interesting because we don't like to really think about that. But you have to put that out of your head because honey is an amazing food. It doesn't spoil. You can put it on wounds. You got to get past the whole bee puke thing because it's good stuff.
Well, that's what's going on. You can use pure honey to clean wounds. If you've got a scratch or a cut or something like that, you can use pure honey. Concentrated honey, it has high levels of antioxidants and antibacterial properties. This makes it perfect for sanitizing wounds and actually helping the healing. And if you go through a bee's honeycomb and you measure everything in there is a perfect hexagon. Bees, they don't mess around. Their honeycombs each have a perfect angle of 120 degrees, no more, no less. Now,
wow.
Jason Statham is not just practicing martial arts. He's like an adrenaline junkie. I mean, he loves to do all kinds of activities, skydiving. He's big in skydiving. He does competitive jet skiing. He loves to do a lot of thrill stuff. So he really is like an adrenaline junkie. Now, here's one that you would love. This could be like a podcast for you. Undertaker bees. They have undertaker bees that remove dead bees that are found in the hive. If a bee dies in the hive, worker bees will get them and drag them out and put them somewhere. Undertaker bees.
You know, do we really have any grasp of the intelligence of bees? Because they work together. You know, you talk about the hive mind, right? But they organize as a collective and they work together and they all understand their roles. And without them, of course, we'd starve to death, right? But do we really understand their intelligence? It's as alien to us as if they were from another planet.
It's so funny that you ask. Bees have feelings. In a beehive colony, they are pessimistic and optimistic bees. Studies show that just like humans, optimistic bees, they work themselves to death, while those on the pessimistic side, they tend to be slackers. I never thought of a slacker bee, but they are slacker bees. Okay? Yeah. Now, here you asking about intelligence. Bees can solve basic math. Among animals and insects, bees are the biggest math whizzes. They can solve distance and shortest routes between the flowers they visit. And they don't need computers or calculators. They solve it in a snap. They realize exactly what the quickest and fastest way is. Studies have also shown that bees can identify and count up to 4. And they also recognize the concept of zero. For an experiment, bees were trained to choose which sample has more or less. Eventually, they exhibited an 80% success rate in making that choice.
Wow.
Is that not cool?
This is the thing. Like we're and who's more focused than me on space, but we don't understand really like bees or whales. We don't know what's at the bottom of the ocean. Like this is an endless and fascinating mystery because clearly, look, they have intelligence. They organize collectively. They have emotions.
Yes.
And so, they have to have some thoughts and feelings about how their little tummies explode. Like, it's just terrible. I'm so upset. I'm going to have another Jason Statham fact to calm myself down.
I got it. When he was filming Expendables 3, Jason Statham almost got killed. For all the authenticity that Statham likes to bring to the screen by doing his own stunts, sometimes things don't go according to plan. While filming an action scene in Expendables 3, the brakes failed on a 3-ton stunt truck that Jason was driving. It went off a cliff and into the Black Sea. If you've ever wondered if the real Statham was anything like the movie version, his underwater escape should answer that. He said, "It's the closest I've ever been to drowning." He said, "I've done a lot of scuba diving. I've done a lot of free diving. No matter how much of that you've done, it doesn't teach you to breathe underwater." He said, "I came very close to drowning," because he had to get himself out of the truck. And, that's got to be a panic situation. I mean, it would be for me.
And listen, he's saying, I came very close to drowning. And you started this episode by telling us that he was an elite competitive diver.
Yes.
So if Jason Statham came close to drowning, Lamar, you and I would be a memory.
Oh yeah, we're dead. We're dead. Bees are neat freaks. They keep their hive spotless by making sure that no one defecates inside the hive other than the queen bee. When nature calls for the queen to do her thing, they have an assigned worker bee that cleans up that mess right away. But everybody else goes outside.
Oh,
how about that?
What a fantasy.
Bees can smell fear. Bees can identify the scent of fear from humans. And when they do, they tend to attack as they anticipate that their hive is going to be disturbed. So that is true. If if you're scared, they know you're scared, and then it scares them and they come after you.
Can I tie Jason Statham? He'll never have this problem because he has no fear.
There you go. Hey, Lamar, do you think because they can smell fear, that's why beekeepers and people who work with bees are able to like approach the hive and the bees will even rest on their arms and stuff and no drama?
Yeah, a lot of that is like those people that do those beards of bees and stuff can't be scared. You can't be scared. Bees also, dark colors sort of freak them out. That's why beekeepers' uniforms are white. That's a color that doesn't bother them. I mean, they have great eyesight. They got like 5 eyes and they got great eyesight, but white, that's why they wear white. And you ever notice when people like the beekeepers go to check on the hive, they take that smoke and spray it around.
Yeah.
When the beekeepers harvest the honey, or if they had got to relocate the hive, they smoke the bees. The smoke subdues the bees. It doesn't hurt them. It just subdues them and makes them be still, and then it lets the beekeepers do their work.
So basically, if you're afraid of bees and you're dressed all in black and you stumble upon a hive, bad situation.
Oh, yeah. It's not good for you. It's not good for you. Female worker bees live only for 5 weeks. They work all the way up to the last day that they live. They gather nectar and pollen. They continue to labor at the hive. See, now you
so relatable.
Now you don't feel so bad for the boy bees to bust in their bellies. Yeah. Now,
so relatable.
Jason Statham is well aware that some of his movies have been duds. He was asked by Esquire if he ever watched one of his movies during the premiere and thought, oh no. His response was a very self-aware, oh yeah, I think I've said that more often than not. He said his favorite movies have been the Guy Ritchie movies, The Bank Job, Transporter 1 and 2, definitely not 3, and Crank. He said, I mean, you do a lot of films and you're always aiming for something good and you're trying to push yourself to do something really, really good. He said, but sometimes it's just not good. And he recognizes it, but he still gets paid. The founder of Burt's Bees started by selling honey. Burt's Bees, its founder is Burt Shavitz, and he started the business by selling honey in gallons to locals. And he was marking his hives with his name to prevent others from stealing it. So it would say Burt's Bees. And through the years, his business expanded, and he started doing all those other products. And I think he's done very well.
Oh, yeah.
You cannot hide from Africanized bees. Don't hide in the water. If you're chased by killer bee, if you jump in the water, they will hover over the water and wait for you to come up. So you're either going to drown or you're going to get stung. The best thing you can do is zigzag patterns and try to get into a car or a house. Because here's the deal. A bee can chase you for a quarter of a mile. When they get aggressive and excited, a swarm of bees could chase you and sting you all at the same time, and they won't let up. They'll go for at least a quarter of a mile. So
and these
running
bees
from them's
will
no good.
wait. They will wait for you to come out of the water?
Yep, because they know you're down there. And my final Jason Statham fact is his movies, whether they're duds or not, have made more than $5 billion worldwide. Some of the critics might not like it, but audience and studio executives can't get enough. Taken as a whole, Statham's filmography has ranked in more than $5 billion worldwide. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Talking Lamar. We've had a great time. Hope you did too. If you didn't, I think the next episode is going to be perfect for you. So don't give up. Come on back. I hate a quitter. Until next time, see ya.